are very close and in some instances relatives to the president. And the president does not want to see that his relatives and particularly close associates are seen to be engaged in many things. But even before you delve into the report, isn't it the case that you, the media, including my own kid brother Abu Jinapo, went around to go and visit mining or to visit Galamsey sites, and in the thick of the forest, they found a company that was engaged in illegal mining. They have devastated the forest, and in anger, the minister said that by the records, that company had only license to prospect and not license to mine. And yet Akonta Mines, that belongs to the regional chairman of the NPP in the Ashanti region, had moved beyond just exploration and gone to do mining and devastated the forest. President Akufo-Addo, when confronted with the question, said that Akonta Mining had not done anything unlawful. He put the minister, who had urged that work should be stopped, right, at a fix. The minister had asked that they should prosecute. The president comes to say that the man had done nothing unlawful. And the president is the one who appointed the minister. Now, the boss comes to tell you that stop every other thing because the man had done nothing wrong. You, a minister, would you have the gusto to get up and say you are still going to pursue it? So Akonta Mines is working free. They have destroyed our forests. They have done things that are untoward. Here we are. Are we not in this country where one of your own colleagues, Asare Donko of Joy FM, went into the bush to go and do a story? And in that story, guns were pointed at him for wanting to conduct the story. What did they see? They went there and saw military. The military were supposed to protect people. Where the illegal miners were living, military uniform and weapons and armory were found there. They went there, and you see, when the Milshot committee tells you that there's no coordination between the security, national security operatives went there, only to go there and to realize that the armed forces were there. When they picked everything and they were about getting onto the people, then one of the people drove a Tundra into the area and had to make calls. And when they came, the other people came, numbering in excess of 30. They were subjected to raw deal. They were virtually held hostage from morning till evening. When a call had to be placed for their release, they had to pick up their rushes to come and make the story. What is the outcome of that story? That is the Galamsey story that Frimpong Boateng is talking about. And in the Frimpong Boateng story, he listed Osafo Maafo and the role he's playing. Gabi Achiridaku, the role he's playing. He listed the what we call a host of them, and said how he was virtually stopped. Excavators, as we still speak, you still have some broken down excavators at the aviation lands along the Boche road. They were told that in excess of 700 excavators were seized from illegal miners. And when they seized it, he said, I am the minister responsible for the interministerial committee. I want to send people. You see them, you say they are within the district assembly, you gave report. So let me send people to come around. When he sent the people to go around, they realized that more than 500 of those that were on paper to have been seized could not be traced. When he spoke about it, they turned around to say that the excavators got lost under his watch. All that he was requiring is that bring the excavators so that we can centralize them and see what we'll do with them. That is his crime, for wanting to probe and to find out. We sat in this country and excavators were distributed like somebody distributing granules in Sisala market. Nobody did anything about it. And so today, is it of any shock that the Attorney General will come and tell us that the Frimpong Boateng report of 36 pages contained nothing prosecutable? If there is nothing, at least he provided clue. He told us that at the background yard of the president in his house, an MPP organizer had led people to be digging to do galamsey and showed picture evidence. When he was dealing with the matter, Gabi called and said that he was the lawyer to that person. And he was pleading that the matter should be stopped. Is that true or not? If you come and say that you don't want to prosecute anybody, it is not strange to us because President Akufo-Addo is the clearing agent, the chief clearing agent, clearing anybody that is found with graft or done something untoward. And so if his appointee...
But this opinion was not written by the president.
The president appointed Godfrey Dami. And the president has already indicated that he is regional chairman, who the Minister for Land said that is engaged in illegal mining. In fact, it's not illegal mining. He is not licensed to even do mining. And yet he went to do mining.
But Bernard, if there isn't evidence to prosecute the people...
What evidence again do you need? Does Akonta Mines belong to Chairman Wontumi? If it belongs to Chairman Wontumi, did they go beyond their permit to go and engage in mining when they were supposed to do exploration? Did they destroy the forest? What evidence do you need?
But what even in this document, I mean, Akonta Mining is not listed here. There are other names that are listed.
That are listed.
The Attorney General says that there isn't enough evidence to prosecute them.
There's not enough evidence. There's no enough evidence. The devastation to our land is there.
But the devastation is there. But is there enough evidence to show that these are the persons behind the devastation?
You don't know that Osafo Mafu is behind it. You don't know that Gabi Ochurudaku is behind it. You don't know that an MPP organizer...
Can you prove that?
It's in Frimpong Boateng's report. Which report they actually threw away.
But he says that there isn't enough evidence in that report to charge them.
This man sitting here, his ministry is supposed to be part of that interministerial committee. Right? But unfortunate for him,
in fact, Frimpong Boateng actually said that my minister, former minister, was one of the few people who attended all the meetings.
Okay.
Because she was very interested in what was happening to the water bodies.
Okay.
because there was something to start.
I knew you would say that. You go on.
No, I'm actually perturbed by the fact that my minister is very broke and then monies were taken by house helps. that I'm very perturbed. But yeah, so from day one and from the inception, it was clear to us that nothing was going to be done about it. Look, anything about Osafo Mafu from Kroll and Associates, the people who wanted to...
Why are you bringing...
Please wrap up for me, Bernard.
Attorney General, you are going to talk about Akonta Mines, which is not in the report.
Bernard,
stop that.
But you to stop interjecting. When you were speaking, he didn't.
No, but he's talking about...
But when you were talking, you don't decide that.
Oh,
thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Why is even going astray?
Who this? Please go ahead.
So, Osafo Mafu, anything about Osafo Mafu, President Akufo-Addo will do anything, including sacking legal and authorized persons who say that, look, Osafo Mafu, you took our money, $1 million, gave it to Kroll and Associates. You found a way to get the money back. No work was done. So repay the money to the state. Then Osafo Mafu, while this matter was there, Domilevo had to suffer his job. So today, if Osafo Mafu is mentioned again in a report, don't forget that from senior minister, he's now senior presidential advisor. You expect the president, the person who is advising him for no curfew to come, that his name should be embroiled in this matter. So I'm not surprised. All that I am is that I'm worried for the state of our future.
Okay.
I'm worried that this is the kind of legacy that will accompany Akufo-Addo after he has left office.
All right. Delali.
So first of all, I want to establish the fact that the issue about appointees of this current dispensation engaging in galamsey activities was basically a policy that was adopted at the MPP headquarters. That is owing to a video which I believe you might have chanced upon. A video that was a banter between Ekowusi and Professor Frimpong Boateng, when a statement was made to the effect that the General Secretary at that time, John Bodu, had made a statement to the effect that the party need money, and that was one of the reasons why appointees or people close to this government were engaged in Galamsey. That video is there. That was a banter between Ekowusi and Professor Frimpong Boateng, when he was then the Minister for what do you call it, Science and...
I can't speak to the authenticity of that.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. There's a video to that effect.
What is saying party needs money?
That is what
how is that
no, what I'm saying.
And this don't you need money? It's a statement of fact.
I am making reference.
As General Secretary, he says that the party needs money.
I'm making reference.
Please allow him to
I'm making reference.
Yeah, but
unwarranted comments to come out.
Honorable, I'm making reference to a video that was widely circulated, where there was a banter between Ekowusi and Professor Frimpong Boateng. And there was an admission in that video that, in fact, the party need money. That is what Professor Frimpong Boateng said. That you told me that John Bodu said the party need money, and for that matter, that is why party appointees were engaged in Galamsey. There's a video to that effect. Probably you might have not seen that video. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, July 2017, made a statement to the effect that he's committed and dedicated in fighting against the Galamsey menace, and went to the extent of telling the good people of this country that he intends to put his presidency on the line. The president, I continue to say, he is directly opposite of everything that he has preached. Everything that the president has said, every assurance that the president has given to the good people of this country, he continued to do contrary to what he has said. Then come an issue in respect to a report. First of all, the report was not even published by Professor Frimpong Boateng. The report was not even mandated from any government appointee. The report was leaked. That was when Ghanaians came to appreciate the enormity or the gravity of issues that we are being confronted with as far as fighting Galamsey menace is concerned. Initially, a lot of people even thought that the report was fake. It took Kweku Baku to send a message to Professor Frimpong Boateng to validate the authenticity of that report. Only for Professor Frimpong Boateng to say every single word captured in that report was uttered by him. But first of all, that report, who commissioned it? After a meeting by cabinet, that was when the chief of staff, the current chief of staff, commissioned Professor Frimpong Boateng to come out with a report. He submitted the report to the chief of staff, 2021. And we only get to speak about the report when it got leaked, with a damning revelation related to how people within this government establishment were deeply involved in promoting Galamsey. The very chief of staff that Professor Frimpong Boateng submitted the report to, her personal assistant called Frank Bequin, alias Pretosia, was captured in that report, obstructing the fight against Galamsey. So you don't expect the chief of staff, whose personal assistant was captured in that report, impeding the fight against Galamsey, to be interested in that report. You don't expect President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to be committed and dedicated in fighting against the Galamsey menace when Captain Koda, the one who is in charge of the president's security detail, was mentioned in the said report. Who called Professor Frimpong Boateng and told Professor Frimpong Boateng, an MP for Asini Akroso, Honorable Abuaje, who happens to be his brother, his excavator was seized, and for that matter, Captain Koda instructed Professor Frimpong that the excavator should be released to the MP. You don't expect President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to fight against the Galamsey menace or to be interested in this report when the one who is in charge of his security operation or director of operations at the presidency, Lord Comey, was mentioned in the said report. In that very same report, Professor Frimpong Boateng, when you read page 12 of the report, he said there was an instances that he met the president at his conference room at the Flagstaff House. And he looked at the president in his face and told the president, if there's one individual who remained the greatest threat to our forest, reserve, is this man sitting before you. That is what he made reference to. May he so rest in perfect peace. Sir John. It is in the report. The president did nothing about it. He went ahead relative to CNJ Alaska. and said we are operating within the Dentra enclave. And when the Galam stopped, when the interministerial committee decided to wage a relentless fight against the activities that they were engaging, the Galamsey activity, they relocated to a certain place in the Ashanti region. Now, CNJ Alaska metamorphosis to become what we call Heritage Imperial. And what they had was a prospecting license, not a mining license. To the extent that the minister before Professor Frimpong, but I'm talking about Peter Amewu, wrote a letter to them that you have no locus, you have no license to engage in mining. It was overlooked. How can a company engage in a mining activity when they do not have a license to mine? Is the Attorney General telling us that somebody can just all of a sudden carry equipment and what have you, zoom into a forest and start mining without license? Is it difficult for the Attorney General to ascertain the fact that what they were engaged in was an act of illegality? So if the Attorney General come and tell us that there's no prima facie case, there's no basis of prosecuting the individual that has been mentioned, the Attorney General is not being honest to the good people of this country. So
but if there isn't enough evidence, there isn't enough evidence.
So I am saying that the CNJ Alaska, that metamorphosis to heritage, what we call imperial, Peter Amewu, who was then the sector minister, wrote to them that they do not have license to mine. They were engaged in mining activity. Is that legal? For a company to engage in mining where they have no license? Is that legal? Is the Attorney General telling us that he's unable to ascertain whether indeed the CNJ Alaska, that metamorphosis, did have licenses or not?
But the issue here is not about, I think that, let's not confuse the issues. Yes, the Galamsey is ongoing. We are seeing the devastating effects. I don't think that it is lost on the Attorney General. What's the contention here is the names that were mentioned in Professor's report. And he is saying that these names, and I can go through the names for you, there isn't enough evidence to prosecute these persons, not the activities of the illegal mining. That is the issue. And so if he goes to court, does he have enough evidence to prosecute, for instance, the Lord Comis and the Ni Tego and the rest? Is there enough evidence?
So before this report, before the Attorney General legal opinion, when you were reading, you made reference to the fact that as far back as May, what did the Attorney General say relative to the report? The Attorney General virtually rubbished the report. The communique that emanated from the presidency, when the report was leaked, they said it was an expression of grievances. So what it simply means that the appointer, the very individual that appointed the Attorney General, have rubbished the report, have virtually relegated the report to the background, have treated the report with contempt. So how do you expect the Attorney General, who is appointee of the president, to prosecute individuals that were mentioned in the report, the same report that the presidency have described as an expression of grievances? So the commitment is not there. The dedication to fight against the Galamsey menace is not there. You have an instances that in the same report, the NPP youth organizer in the present constituency was mentioned to have engaged in Galamsey activity right there at the present backyard. And Professor Frimpong indicated in the report that when they got a wind of the said Galamsey that is being perpetuated right at the present backyard, they quickly mobilized for that land to be reclaimed. After 2 years, you have NPP people taking journalists to the president backyard, going to ascertain whether indeed it's true or not after 2 years. When in the said report, Professor Frimpong have admitted that they went and reclaimed the land. So what we are simply saying, when it comes to Honorable Osafo Maafo, in that same report, a statement was written by Setmanti, who happens to be a journalist, at the police CID headquarters, admitting that when it comes to the sales of the what they call excavator, the monies were deposited in his account by the instruction of Ekusi, who happens to be the MPP Central Regional Vice Chairman. When the matter got to Honorable Osafo Maafo, according to Professor Frimpong in the report, Honorable Osafo Maafo said the one who is the problem is Professor Frimpong. So you have an instances where the people in government, the people who are power brokers in government, the influential personality within the government's establishment, were the ones that were impeding the fight against Galamsey. So when you have the Attorney General espousing a legal opinion relative to the reason why he's unable to prosecute the individuals that were mentioned, he's taking consolation from the fact that the president that appointed him, the president that he's working for, he himself has given a verdict by making a statement to the effect that what was captured in the report is frivolous. It's just an expression of grievances. So you don't expect the Attorney General to do contrary to what the appointer, being the president, have said relative to the report. You don't expect the Attorney General to go contrary to what the president have espoused. So what we are basically just saying that President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo has failed abysmally. President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo have demonstrated that indeed all the statement he made relative to fighting against the Galamsey menace was a total empty rhetoric. Just the usual rhetoric that the president have expressed when it comes to fighting against corruption.
All right. Let's move on. Let's quickly touch on the last topic so we can wrap up with this segment. Let's talk about education. The Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, has expressed its dissatisfaction with the long delay in the disbursement of foodstuff to senior high schools across the country. CHAS is requesting that senior high schools be given the opportunity to purchase their own food items for their students. Now, they were speaking at the 61st National Annual Conference, and the president of CHAS, Reverend Stephen Owusu-Setre,